Welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. As you can see in the background, we are on a different site. Another one. It's Tim Ferriss' site. Tim Ferriss, podcaster and also author. Period. There are some articles. For example, practical philosophy. There are a few, as you can see on the right hand side, a few topics or tags or whatever you want to call them. There we have gadgets, there we have geo arbitrage, there we have mental performance, marketing, and many more. And it is actually quite interesting that I have not gone through a lot of these articles, because I also thought there aren't that many articles, but it turns out there are some, and also some, pretty interesting, I would say, I would believe. So let's have a look. It's actually pretty difficult to decide which one to go through. Period. Maybe this one, because I yesterday talked about that with a friend of mine. Why you need a deloading phase in life. Topics: email detox, low information diet, mental performance, and practical philosophy. I've written about my morning journaling routine once before, but my journaling think of it as freezing thinking on paper isn't limited to mornings. I use it as a tool to clarify my thinking and goals, much as Kevin Kelly, one of my favorite humans, does. The paper is like a photography darkroom for my mind. Below is a scan of a real page. Both entries are from October 2015. By the way, this article is March 29th, 2016. And before I found it staggering, before this article, what amount of information about himself, exercising schedules and whatnot, he still has from past years. It's very interesting, and which might underline the amount of organization he does, so organizing himself and whatnot. But yeah. The first entry, top half, is simply a list of fun things I felt compelled to schedule after the unexpected death of a close friend. Since I've ticked all of the bullets off, you'll notice that I blurred out a few sensitive bits, and I won't spend time on this entry in this post. The second entry, bottom half, was written in Samovar Tea Lounge in San Francisco after a 2-hour walk. The gestation period during walking and subsequent entry lead me to reincorporate quote-unquote deloading phases in my life. Deloading is a term often used in strength and athletic training, but it's a concept that can be applied to many areas. So let's look at the sports definition here from T Nation. A back-off week or deload is a planned reduction in exercise volume or intensity. In collegiate strength training circles, it's referred to as unloading week and is often inserted between phases or periods of, and this is another thing, of very high intensity training. So, for example, when you are training towards or for a show or for a specific event and whatnot, then it would, I think, make sense to have a bit of a deload afterwards, because prepping time or prep probably is a relatively long period of time with maybe pretty strict diet and a lot of working out, high volume things, and so on and so forth. Quoting from Essentials of Strength Training and Conditioning, the purpose of this unloading week is to prepare the body for the increased demand of the next phase or period and to mitigate the risk of overtraining. Overtraining being actually something, maybe back in the days, 2016, it was more prominent and or dominant in the minds of society and whatnot, but at this point, very, very, very few people actually get to this point of overtraining. So how does this relate to creativity, productivity, or quality of life? First, I'll give you a personal outcome. In the last 12 months, I've used deloading outside of sports to decrease my anxiety at least 50% while simultaneously doubling my income. Deloading for business in my case consists of strategically taking my foot off the gas. I alternate intense periods of batching similar tasks, so recording podcasts, clearing the inbox, writing blog posts, handling accounting, etc., with extended periods of, for lack of poetic description, unplugging and fucking around. Oddly enough, I find both the patching and unplugging to free up bandwidth and be restorative. The unplug, and I think this is because you have both, because you have this phase and the other phase that, not one phase is completely fucking with you and the other one is really boring. You know that there are some periods of time where you're going to do more, and you know that there is periods of time where you're just not doing that much. The unplug can still be intense. Here's a personal example in Bali, but you shouldn't be working on work. Let's dig into the journal entry as it provides much of the reasoning. I've provided the scan, click to enlarge, and transcript the entry below it, including many additional thoughts. The journal itself, Morning Pages Workbook, I explain here. So this is a workbook. As I can see for some podcast listeners, this is why I'm pointing it out. We're having a page. My creativity heals myself and others. This age is very difficult to read. Sunday, whatever, past summit. Do the time is precious. Do the fun stuff, time is precious. Iceland trip, Peru, with whomever, another fast at whatever, dog and use gym. And then we have Woodstone. Cryotherapy. This one I can't read. Then the Tuesday entry, so this was the Sunday entry. After 330 dose of N whatever 2 grams, 25% done, question mark. Corner, sitting, I guess. The great deloading phase to get back to the state, the pregnant, rid of infinite possibilities. Possible with the load of obligation. Other possible with the negotiation or something. Whatever. So it is structured, but it is for sure not like completely really like structured. It has some beginning and some end, has something in between, but the form of it, the formatting, it's just not. I think what I want to say and what I want to underline here is that it is not too important to have it, a really beautiful and a really nice looking whatever entry. It's not about that. It's about writing things down that you want to keep in mind, that are important to you and do you want to get out of your head. And very recently also Andrew Huberman was or posted a post on Instagram, I think it was, about writing and thinking, and writing aiding one to think clearer and better. Because you have to concentrate and you really have to think hard about what you're writing about and what you're willing to write. And this, on the other hand, also improves your communication, I believe, and or your ability to communicate with other people very precisely and also very clearly. So might actually not be a wonder why writing is good for one. Probably also for one's mental health, I guess. When you're forced to be clear in your mind, this might also take away certain certain possibilities of one, getting caught up in one's own thoughts, because they're so unclear and very, not structured and messy. Now the transcription with revisions and additional thoughts. Oh. Oh my. I'm gonna read them anyway. The great deloading phase. This is what I'm experiencing this afternoon, and it makes a Tuesday feel like a lazy Sunday morning. This is when the muse is most likely to visit. I need to get back to the slack, to the pregnant void of infinite possibilities only possible with a lack of obligation, or at least no compulsive reactivity. Perhaps this is only possible with the negative space to, as Kurt Vonnegut put it, fart around, to do things for the hell of it, for no damn good reason at all. I feel that the big ideas come from these periods. It's the silence between the notes that make the music. If you want to create or be anything lateral, bigger, better, or truly different, you need room to ask, what if? Without a conference call in 15 minutes, the aha moments rarely come from the incremental inbox clearing mentality of, oh fuck, I forgot to. Please remind me to. Shouldn't I? I must remember to. That is the land of the lost, and we all became lost. My Tuesday experience reinforced, for me, the importance of creating large, uninterrupted blocks of time, a la maker schedule versus manager schedule, in which your mind can wander, ponder, and find the signal amidst the noise. If you're lucky, it might even create a signal or connect to signals. Core ideas that have never shaken hands before. For me, I've scheduled deloading phases in a few ways, roughly 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. daily for journaling, tea routines, etc., 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Wednesday for creative output, for example, writing, interviewing for the podcast, and screen-free Saturdays when I use no laptops and only use my phone for maps and coordinating with friends via text, so no apps. Of course, I also use mini retirements a few times a year. Deloading blocks must be scheduled and defended as strong as actually more strongly than your business commitments. The former can be a force multiplier for the latter, but not vice versa. So, how can one throttle back the reactive living that has them following everyone's agenda except their own? Create slack, as no one will give it to you. This is the only way to swim forward instead of treating water. And that is it with this article. I hope you've liked it, and I hope you learned something, and I hope that I've been able to share something of value with you. And with that being said, I'm hopefully going to see you next time, so bye-bye.